Welcome back to Angerville for the second round of the WSK Euro Series. The OK karts are on the grid, ready to go for the 21-lap final, the second round here in France. Here this afternoon, we've already had two finals, and both time we've had English drivers stand on the top step. It's an Italian driver who starts on the pole position here in a few moments alongside another Englishman. How did we get to this point in the weekend? Let's take a look back at some of the highlights so far this weekend here in Angerville. The Scotsman Dexter Patterson in the 201 Sauber Kart Republic, the fastest qualifier on Friday afternoon. However, he put it into the wall when the rain came down in the opening heat, causing extra work for the Kart Republic team. Tricky conditions with torrential downpours throughout the heats. Travis Sanultol taking 2 heat wins. His former teammate Taylor Barnard also took another heat. It's the Kart Republics who dominated so far this weekend. Travis Sanultol 2-2-0, the reigning world champion, to start on pole position alongside Taylor Barnard for the final here this afternoon. It is a grey, gloomy, overcast day, but the track for the moment is dry. We did have similar conditions yesterday, and in just moments, minutes, seconds even, the wind pushed torrential downpours in moments before the start of multiple heats. Yesterday we had 3 red flags, not through the cause of any incidents, but such was the condition of the circuit. The Bridgestone Slicks, they're a great tyre, but they don't cope too well on the bitumen when the hail is falling from the skies. The Kart Republics on the front row of the grid to the left of your screen, the reigning world champion 2-2-0, Lorenzo Travisanuto, alongside Taylor Barnard from Norwich in England. There is Lorenzo from Spilimborgo, north of Venice in northern Italy. Nice and calm and relaxed is his mechanic, Alessandro Levrati. They have travelled the world, dominating international kart racing over the last few seasons. There is Taylor Barnard from Norwich in England. On the east coast of Great Britain, 203, the WSK Champions Cup winner for Team Rosberg out of grid number 2. The Dutchman Delano for Forza Racing starts on the second row of the grid. Crucially, he is on the inside line. The Forza Racing team of Jamie Croxford. And there is the Sauber Kart Republic, Dexter Patterson, fastest qualifier on Friday with a 49.238 in conditions that were similar to this, although there was more rubber on the circuit, which has been consistently washed off the track all weekend. 208, the Tony Kart. It is Menino do Brasil, the boy from Brazil, Matias Morgato, has been in superb form this weekend, the inside of the third row, alongside the Sicilian Gabriel Mini, who has finally parked the plain white helmet. Gee, did that get some use? It was easy for us to pick out the Sicilian. The brand new bell for Gabriel, and he starts out at grid number 6. This is Nicolas Piertilati from Finland for CV Performance Group. On the podium in Sarno, starts on the 4th row of the grid alongside Josh Dufek, the Swiss driver in the second of the Sauber Kart Republics. Nicolas Piertilati is 4th in the series on 23 points. We'll update you with the virtual championships as the karts are pushed into life. The 21-lap final. It is a tight, twisting track, but in a few moments' time, they will still reach 118 k's an hour into turn number 1. You can see a problem for Sun Yuhan. That's how greasy the track is. It might be easy to criticise him back home, but the track is still like an ice skating rink. The Chinese driver turns around the Team Rosberg Kart Republic, but he's pushed back into life and will rejoin to start on the 8th row of the grid. Travisanuto, Barnard, Vantoff and Patterson, Morgato, Mini, Piertilati and Dufek, Kayaski, first time out for Kart Republic, and Dino Beganovic, the Swede out of grid number 10, who won in Sarno. The only French driver in the field, despite the fact we are here in France. Frank Chaffard for the Cartland VDK Red Speed Racing team. Starts alongside L.A. McRae, Leandro Antaruti for the Lanari Racing team. Tiken Karitanov, Leonardo Fornaroli. Sebastian Belholsini, San Yuhan, who's back into position. Sebastian Gravlin, the Dane, Nicholas Pinot from Chile and South America. Li Mingyang, the Chinese driver. And Ksenia Phoenix from Moscow in Russia for Team Baby Race Paralin on the final spot on the grid. Well, incredibly, it does appear as though we will race this on a dry circuit. The skies are threatening. It is 9 degrees Celsius. We are in the European spring. But the weather conditions, we've all become meteorological experts here in the last few days. But the track for the moment is dry and likely to stay that way for the next few moments at least. Stand by for the second round of the WSK Euro Series here at Angerville, just south of Paris in central northern France. Travis Anuto, anxious to get on with it. Waits for his former teammate Taylor Barnard, the Kart Republics, 1 and 2 on the grid. Ian Silvestrin, your commentator for this, the second round of the WSK Euro Series. Travis Anuto, your pole sitter. 21 laps the distance, Angerville the venue, and we're ready to race the final here this afternoon. Up to the line we go. It's a slow start, it's a clean start. Can Barnard get his former teammate around the outside? He tries it. He tries to hold on, tucks into second place. It's the Dutchman Delano into third. Barnard goes through with a barnstorming start. Down into turn number 2. Travis Anuto gets him on the exit. Oh, this race is on in the opening few corners. 20 starters, 20 still in the race. A good clean start as they go up the back straight. 109 k's an hour down into Bridgestone Sweeper for the first time. Travis Anuto nervously searching for grip on a cold, greasy circuit here south of Paris. Barnard in second place. And as the Dutchman Delano, watch Dexter. Right there is where he put it into the wall in the opening heat yesterday as Gabriel Mini goes down the inside and tries to take Nicholas Pirtilati. Can't quite do it though. The Finn holds off the Sicilian on this, the second lap of the 21-lap final. The WSK Euro Series. Kart Republic 1 and 2. The legendary Dino Chiesa watching on from pit lane. His chassis running first and second. They're also in sixth with the Finn Pirtilati. On the podium in Sarno as Vartov down the inside. The Dutchman Delano through to P2. And Dexter follows him through. There's Morgado Pirtilati on the back of Barnard. The Finn tries the Brit. Taylor closes the door. He was in second place. He's now not even on the podium. Here comes the Forza Racing entry, shadowed by the 2017 Junior World Champion. Josh Dufek throws the 202 Sauber down the inside of turn number 1. Pirtilati goes side by side, picks up a place with Barnard, but the Brit gets him back on the exit. There is no grip on this track, as you can see. It is dry, but it is greasy. There is nothing on the circuit in terms of rubber, although Dexter's finding something. Here comes the boy from Glasgow. The Sauber through into position number 2. Morgado from Brazil, one step off the podium. The Dutchman Delano behind Dexter. Then as Matthias, as Lorenzo starts to skip away. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Back to Pirtilati, looking for his second podium in a row here this weekend in France. Down into turn number 6, the gap is 0.5 of a second. The reigning world champion. Back to Dexter, 2 world champions, first and second. Dexter, of course, taking the title in 2017 at PFI in England. That was for the Forza Racing team, and look who's right behind him. The Forza Racing entry of the Dutchman Delano. From just over the border in the Netherlands, he's up in P3. From South America, the Brazilian right behind him. Morgato smashes the Tony Kart over the ripple strip. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And it's Pirtilati, Josh Dufek up into position number 6 as Vantoff sets the fastest lap of the race at 49.713. Half a second off their qualifying pace at the moment. But as the track rubbers in even in the remaining 16 or 17 laps, that should get even faster. There is Taravisanuto, 4/10 of a second. The Scotsman leads the Dutchman and the Brazilian as they chase the back of the Italian. Taravisanuto drifts the 2-2-0 Kart Republic, holds it, over the ripple strip on two wheels, sends it down through turn 14. Morgato on the back of the Dutchman Delano, 118, 119 k's an hour. Down into turn number 1, that's Pirtilati, Tufek, Barnard, Mini, Karitanov, Fornaroli, Frank Chapard, Min Yang. Chinese driver up to 12th from the back of the grid ahead of Dino Beganovic. Who's he? He won the first round of the series in Sarno, the Swede back in 13th. He's second in the series still provisionally on 104 points, but he's struggling here this afternoon. He's ahead of the Dane, Sebastian Gravlan, Sen Yuhan, Bel Hossini, and Ruti's back in 17th for the Lanari Racing Team. Kayaski 18th, Senya Phoenix, and she's ahead of Nicolas Pinot. 1, 2, 3 and 4 with plenty of racing laps remaining. The WSK Euro Series here in France. There's Dufek. Head of Barnard, the Brit's fallen back to 7th spot. There's Beganovic going through. The Swede on this, the weekend that the legendary team owner Joachim Ward celebrates his 50th birthday. One of the most popular figures in the paddock. The Ward Racing team owner. We wish him all the best as he watches on live, not at the circuit this weekend. His young driver who did win at Sano, though, he's struggling. Joachim, Dino needs you here. He's in position 13 ahead of Sebastian Gravel, and he's second in the series on 104 points. Dino won at Sarno. He was in the top 3 throughout the heats. Can he do something spectacular in the remaining 15 laps? There's Morgato. It's been a while since we've had, yes, let's say it, a boy from Brazil on the podium. Will we see it here this afternoon? Matias Morgato from Sao Paulo. Menino do Brasil in position number 4 behind the Dutchman. Here is Patterson. The gap stays at 4/10 of a second between Taravisanuto and Dexter. Dexter's good in this part of the circuit, though. They're both driving Kart Republics. The Forza Racing Esprit from the OTK factory. And, of course, the Tony Kart of Morgato in position number 4. This is the end of lap number 8. Taravisanuto 1, Patterson 2, Vantoff 3, and Morgato 4. There's Josh Dufek, goes by Pirtilati. Josh from Switzerland into P5. He heads Pirtilati, Barnard, and Gabriel Mini. Karitanov, Leonardo Fornaroli, the young Italian now inside the top 10. Nice drive from Leonardo, 229, the IAMI-powered Kart Republic. He's come from grid 14. He's got past Chapard, Beganovic, Belholcine, and Sun Yuhan. Leonardo now in the top 10 behind the Russian, Tikhon Karitanov. Tikhon's teammate runs in position 3 in the middle of your screen. The Dutchman Delano Vantoff. Lorenzo Taravisanuto starting to feel the pressure now. He had 7/10 of a second. It's down to 2 tenths. You can see it's down to 2 kart lengths as they pass the abandoned kart of the Chinese driver Li Mingyang in the center of your screen. He's the first and only retirement from this, the OK final, the second round of the WSK Euro Series here in France. The skies are still threatening, but for the moment, the track is dry. Morgato loses a little bit of time from the front 3. Patterson on the back of Taravisanuto. Kart Republic 1 and 2, OTK 3 and 4. This 1,198 meter circuit. Morgato driving the wheels off that Tony Kart. trying to stay with the front trio. 118 k's an hour down into turn number 1. This legendary circuit that hosted the 2000 European Intercontinental A 100cc Championships. Julien Menard, the Frenchman, in the Tony Kart, beating 173 other drivers that day. David Foray taking his 4th World Championship in 2006 in Formula A. Right here, that was 11 years ago. And the Euro Series comes back to France, the Angerville circuit, for the first time in over a decade. Half race distance now. Travisanuto doing everything right. Morgato will be praying that the front 3 start to fight. That will drag the Brazilian back into the battle. There's Josh Dufek behind the 208 Tony Kart. Nice drive from Josh. The London-born Swiss driver, representing the Sauber karting team, the Sauber junior team. So the 2 Sauber entries running in positions number 2 and 5. There is Morgato from Brazil. He's now 0.6 of a second behind the battle for the lead. Vanthof shadowing Patterson. Lorenzo Travisanuto, who won the World Championship in Kristianstad, southern Sweden, in September of last year. Took out the WSK Final Cup, the WSK Supermaster Series in 2016. That was with Ward Racing, as Pirtilati goes through, the Finn in position number 7. But he has been undoubtedly the man to beat in international karting on both sides of the Atlantic, also picking up victories in the Florida Winter Tour in the USA. He now starts to pull away from Patterson. The gap out to 4 tenths now. There is the Forza Racing entry of the Dutchman Dilano Vanthof, the driver from the Netherlands. On the back of the Scotsman, Patterson has his challenge faded. He was all over the back of the Italian. Now he has to defend from the Dutchman. Goes defensive. Does the Sauber Kart Republic. Down the start-finish straight. 8 laps now remaining, as you can see, just over 10 kilometres around this, the French circuit. Morgato losing time, but he is still in contention should the front 3 start to fight. Down through turn 6, reminiscent slightly of turn 6 at Le Conca Muro Lachese. That super tight left-hander with massive grip, massive G-forces. Not so much today, quite simply due to the weather, the cold circuit. The rubber has not really gone down. 49.5 for the front 4 drivers. Everyone else lapping in the 49.6s. 49.548, the fastest lap of the race for the Dutchman Dilano Vanthof in position number 3. 0.5 of a second now from Travisanuto to Patterson and Vanthof. The Brazilian Morgato desperate to get up onto the podium. Superb drive from the Brazilian. Here this afternoon, the skies are threatening. The WSK Euro Series here in France. Patterson loses touch with Travisanuto, but at the same time looks behind to see that he's established 2 kart lengths back to the Forza Racing Esprit. The gap 0.3 of a second between the Scotsman and the Dutchman. Then the Brazilian back in position number 4. Travisanuto extends his lead, the CV Performance Group. The team that won the Blancpain GT Series just a few short years ago with that magnificent GT3 Mercedes. There's Barnard going through, Josh Dufek 202, the second Sauber. Great drive from Josh. Just quickly, we'll update you with the virtual championship. Should it end right now, Travisanuto will take the lead into the 3rd round of the series at Lonato on June 23. 127 points. Beganovic, 105 points, despite the fact he's back in 12th place. And Vanthof moves up into 3rd in the series at this halfway point of the WSK Euro Series for 2019. 5 laps now remaining for the reigning world champion. Barnard has managed to retake position number 5. We just got a glimpse of the Englishman, 2 Brits in the top 5. The Scotsman 2. The English driver Taylor, position 5. So Josh falls back a spot to 6th. Still ahead of Pirtilati, Mini Caritanov and Fornaroli. Great drive, he's the third Italian, I should say. Inside the top 10, Travisanuto leads. Mini, he's in 8th, and Leonardo in position number 10, ahead of the sole French driver in this race. To be perfectly honest, slightly disappointing here this weekend. The WSK Euro Series comes back to France, and just a handful of locals electing to compete in this world-class WSK Euro Series here this weekend. Frank Chapard flying the flag for the home nation. The Red Speed VDK racing driver from the Kartland circuit in Paris, just up the road. Position number 11. Ahead of Beganovic, Belhosinis and Johan. Kai's fallen back to 15th ahead of Leandro Andaruti, Sebastian Gravlin, Nicola Pino, and Senya Phoenix from Moscow in Russia for Team Baby Race Paralin rounds out the field. Still the fastest lap of the race. As for the Dutchman Dilano Vanthoff, 49.5, 3/10 of a second slower than their qualifying times. Shadows the Scotsman. Over the Ripple strip he puts the X-Spree. Kart Republic still 1 and 2. With just on 3 kilometres of racing here to go this afternoon, the WSK Euro Series. And it looks as though it will be the reigning world champion, Lorenzo Travisanuto, to take a victory and potentially the series lead into Lonato June 23 in around 6 weeks' time. Seven-tenths of a second now. You can see Travisanuto has pulled away from the Scotsman. Took a victory here 7 days ago in the European Championships. He is the reigning WSK Super Masters Series champion. That's why he's got the 201 on his kart. Drifts wide. The exit of turn number 2 that time. Travisanuto out to 0.8 of a second. He's just controlling the pace now. This race is just about all but done. Chokes the engine. He's got this one under control. Morgato, there's the Brazilian. Fine effort here this weekend for Matias. Looks as though he will miss the podium, but he has driven superbly. The 208 Tony Kart deserves massive credit. He has announced himself as one of the world's top kart racing drivers this weekend, matching it with the best. Remember, we've got world champions running 1 and 2. There's Dexter, there's the Dutchman Dilano, fastest lap of the race. On this, the final lap of the WSK Euro Series here in France. Travisanuto on his way to victory. Patterson cannot do anything about the Italian. Likewise, the Dutchman Dilano will have to settle for 3rd place down the back straight for the final time here this afternoon. Down into the hairpin. No passing opportunities coming up, but no one is close enough to the driver in front to make the move anyhow. The checkered flag comes out for the reigning world champion, Lorenzo Travisanuto. Wins here in France, the WSK Euro Series. He takes the lead into round 3 at Lonato. Patterson 2nd and the Dutchman Dilano Vanthoff 3rd here this afternoon. Great drive from Morgato. The boy from Brazil finishes in P4. And the Englishman Taylor Barnard rounds out the 5. Well, he was just too good. There is the reigning world champion 2-2-0 from pole position. 2 heat wins, a pre-final victory, and he takes out race number 2 of the WSK Euro Series here at Angerville. With that, he has a 22-point lead going into round 3 in Lonato. Morgato goes by. Deserves huge credit, does the Brazilian. But the race winner is from Italy. He beats home the Scotsman and then the Dutchman in position number 3. The WSK Euro Series has been won by the Italian. Certainly this the second round. Patterson finishes in second. And with that moves to 5th in the series. And the Dutchman, Delano Vantoff, 3rd on the podium here this afternoon. Travisanuto from Patterson, then Vantoff. Morgato 4, Barnard 5, Josh Dufek 6 in the second. Sauber. Pirtilati didn't make the podium for the second race in a row. He was 7th ahead of Mini, Karitanov, and Fornaroli. Great drive to round out the 10. The first local, the Frenchman Frank Chaffard, ahead of Dino Beganovic. Incredibly, 12th, but still holds second in the series. And it was Belholcine, San Yuhan, Kai Aski, Leandro Andaruti, Sebastian Gravlin, and Ksenia, the Russian. She rounds out the field. Nicolas Pinot from Chile in South America. And the Chinese driver Li Mingyang, the 2 non-finishers. But in a few moments' time, we'll have the podium. And it will be the Italian national anthem that we will hear here in France. The WSK Euro Series, you're watching us live. The podium presentation, Lorenzo Travisanuto on the top step in just a moment. Euro Series here in France, and incredibly, had it raced on a dry circuit. The drivers to make their way up to the podium. The Dutchman, the Scotsman, and the Italian, who will stand on the top step in just a moment here at Angerville. Of course, from here we go to Lonato, June 23. South Garda Karting, the centre of the karting universe for round 3 of the WSK Euro Series. And a week later, under lights, the final weekend in June, Adria Karting Raceway, the 4th final deciding round of the WSK Euro Series for 2019. And then before you know it, it will be the WSK Open Cup and the final cup to conclude the 2019 season. The Dutchman Delano Vantoff being congratulated by team owner Jamie Croxford. Doesn't stand on the top step, but Jamie will be happy with that. It'll take some of the pain away for the Englishman as well, as he looks forward to Tottenham playing in the Euro Champions League on Tuesday night. His driver about to stand on the podium here in Angerville in just a moment. The Bridgestone caps to go on the drivers' heads. It is barely into double-digit temperatures here in Angerville. Here comes Delano, Dexter, and Lorenzo. The WSK Euro Series, the second round. And we're ready to go underway with the podium presentations here in Angerville. The OK final in 3rd place for Forza Racing from the Netherlands, Delano Vantoff. Second place for the Sauber karting team from Glasgow in Scotland. This is Dexter Patterson. The second round of the WSK Euro Series has been taken out by the reigning world champion Lorenzo Travisanuto. The 3rd place trophy to Delano Vantoff of the Netherlands. Second place, Dexter Patterson from Great Britain. The winner of the second round of the WSK Euro Series here in France, it's the Italian, Lorenzo Travisanuto. The flowers presented to Delano, Dexter, and Lorenzo. And the national anthem of Italy. The podium for the second round of the WSK Euro Series here at Angerville. Delano Vantoff, Dexter Patterson and Lorenzo Travisanuto. Well, to say the least, the conditions have been trying here in Angerville. Freezing cold, torrential rain. But on behalf of all the team, ASK Angerville here in France, and everyone at WSK Promotion, thanks for watching us live from here. It is Lonato on the 23rd of June. The WSK Euro Series back in Italy. We'll see you at Lonato. Au revoir de Angerville.